Alright, we are here again to talk about the deck I've already made 2 other videos about, because I keep playing it, and so far, in Daybreak, this is the most fun I've had with the deck. It feels incredibly strong. It's super consistent getting to do what it wants to do, because, similar to decks like Fives, what it wants to do is simple. We want to have bodies on board, and we want to get better bodies on board. And that's right, it is once again Liths, or monarchs, as I called it in the very first video, and still holds a little bit of a resemblance to. It has become a little more aggressive in playstyle the more I've played it. Arcalith is a very big proponent of that. But just to show off really quick the list, the current, maybe the finalized version, we'll see, but the current list of it. We got 3 Ash Rabbit, 2 Ash Rabbit, 2 Rabbits, 3 Arcalith, and 3 Lavalith. This is the core of this deck. The value that you gain off of having Ash and Ash Rabbit into the ability to just straight normal ascend into Arc or Lavalith. Very, very good. These cards are all incredible. Arcalith has some pieces that we're going to talk about a little later as to why I think it's so good. But a lot of this is obvious. Ash, Lava, they're good staple cards. We got the tech cards, which are 3 Spectrus and 3 Yeti. And that's it. That's all the Illustrals. Spect answers a lot of annoying things. Eddie answers a lot of annoying things. They're tech cards that help us get away with playing not a crazy amount of guys. It's still a bit, but it's not super duper crazy. It's not very diverse, I guess is the better way to put it. In the runes, we got 3 Nectar of the Gods, which is feeling more and more mandatory as time goes on, at least in non-Nexus builds. We got 3 Resting on Your Laurels, 3 Ambrosia, and 2 Rise from the Ashes. We are not on Earthquake still. We don't want to go into Earth. It's just not a color that we want to splash into, because our math right now is fantastic. And Resting is really, really good. Our guys are good enough answers to other guys. So far, it hasn't been that big of a problem, even though I can see in the future where it will definitely be annoying that I don't have access into Earthquake. But we're trying to fix that a little bit in the sideboard. And this Rise is for some of the crazy plays that I just absolutely love that I'll show off here in a second. We've got the obvious counters. 3 PTA, 3 Gorgons. That hasn't changed. And then, I don't remember if this has changed from the last time I showed the deck off or not, but 3 Dense Fog, 2 Dense Fog, 2 Chains, 2 Helios Chariot Ride, which is honestly the most important card in the deck. These 2 cards here, Chains and Helios, protect our big final plays most of the time. They help get us the advantage that wins us the game, or flat out win us the game. In our side, we currently have the 3rd Ash Rabbit, 2 Boombat, which is kind of just extra kill spells, 3 Argo, 1 Fleece and Tunic. These are for some interesting ideal plays that we'll talk about in a second. The 3rd copy of Dense Fog, and 3 Shield of Achilles. One of these shields, I think, definitely needs to become a 3rd copy of Helios. Helios is so important in this deck, it's crazy. But also, they just released new rules to the game. We're going from 12 to 15 cards on the side, and that's so important. I am ecstatic. It means I'll probably leave this in, and we get to add in that card plus 2 other cards. So a 3rd Boombat, and then I don't even know what the last one would be. I'm just more excited that we can do that. It gives us a little bit more leniency that I'm a huge fan of, and it's going to make deck building so much easier. And then in the Spirit deck, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Zapter. This is the card we're typically wasting quite a bit. Great. We love Thunder. It's doing very well in this deck, but we want to engrave that way we can focus on getting it back with our Arcalith for a lot of our plays. We've got 7 by Pyro because it's a little less important than Thunder. Thunder gets us into our plays with our Arcolith, which enables a lot of our big plays anyway. Fire, not as important, but still very important for the couple of cards we're playing it for. 3 Alloon just for Dense Fogs and Spectruses, and 2 Leviathan because we're only on Eddie, but we would like to activate more than one a lot of the time. So nothing crazy there. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about some of the combos. So I say combos, but it's more just how to play the deck the way I've been playing it. Obviously, our good big bodies on board are Ashrabbit and Ashrabbit. Ashrabbit's a little less important, which is why we're only on 2 in the main. It's great at recurring resources. It can immediately pay for itself, and then in later turns it can grab back some pretty big cards. It's kind of annoying to look at your opponent and go, do you want to give me back this card which wins me the game, this card which helps me there, or this card which answers your board? It's an annoying choice. This one here, it's Ashtrap. We all know what it does. Re-enchanting it's incredible, but also the fact that this can turn into this is so incredibly big. Our Astrabbit into Arcolith is one of the main ways that we're getting Arcolith on board, because once we do this once with its alt summon condition, a lot of people are not going to let us do that again. And that typically lets us go this. Now we have a 5 spirit Arcolith. I can stick those on him real quick. All the others would have been engraved from a Nectar of the Gods or whatever. So now we have a 5 spirit beater on board. We can swing in for damage with this. We can use these for other things, which is one of the big things I've been doing with it. So ideally, you have an Astrabbit already on board, and this is where Helios comes in. Any turn you're going to do big Arcolith plays using the Astrabbit already on board, you want to flip Helios, or if your opponent doesn't have a lot of back row, having a single chains can also potentially get there. But these 2 cards are going to help protect you during doing plays with Arcolith. Once you get the 3 extra on him, you can swing in for extra, which is fantastic. But also, one of the greatest things about the deck is that pays for a Nectar, and then has 1 still extra on him. You can get an extra 2 cards out of it. Or my favorite play is you can do that, rise, grab anything back from grave, including Astrabbit or Ashrabbit, just by using the 3 extra that we just stacked onto him. It maths out perfect. It's almost like this was one of the things they had in mind for this kind of card, this kind of strategy to be used. It's very, very cool. I have been in a lot of scenarios where, let's say we have an Astrabbit on field, and you have Arcolith in grave, a Rise in hand, and an Arcolith in hand. This is the type of play you only want to do under protection. You want to have the Helios. But if you have Helios, and then you've got these in hand, I have actually done the play a couple times before where we use 2 Thunder to pay for Helios. That way we put another 2 in there. It normally gets us to the numbers we want. We get to go Rise from the Ashes, Arcolith, put 3 more on it. He's at 5. Arcolith over Astrabbit, another 5. That's 10 on board. Into 2 guys that are in attack position, that is straight up 8 damage. Another way that you can do it if they have 2 in attack position is just play out Arcolith, but then it depends on your spirit math if that's really worth it. But it's crazy. This card is so much stronger than I initially thought it would be. Being a 6, it can get over most things at once anyway, and your goal is going to be to spend most of the game using your control pieces, being Spectrus and Eddie, to sit in a comfortable position. You've got your 5 defenses on the rabbits, that way you don't have to worry about that. You've got your protection for cards like Helios and Chains of Prometheus. It feels incredible. Dense Fog has come up more times than I can count. It's just so strong. And I'm so excited to be able to put a couple of extra cards in the sideboard. That way we could really, really get it going. But for the foreseeable future, I do believe this is what I'm going to be bringing to my first Daybreak event, like digital or webcam. I don't remember the date of that, but I'm going to try and be sure I can be in it. That way I can show up. Got a history of going X2 and bubbling out. Maybe this time we can make it Top Cut. Who knows? That is the dream. But just wanted to give an update. The only real difference is we're on Eddie, but it gives a bit more of an explanation of what we're doing. We are doing 5s-esque plays, sitting on a 5 defense, using our utility cards to interrupt our opponent, and then last turning into a big play that just fully blows them out. And it feels pretty good. But that is all for today. I just wanted to show off the deck again one more time. At this point, everyone should know, but this deck's my baby. I've been working on it a lot, and I really, really do love it. It might even change more in the future. I can see the third chariot being in the main, or maybe even something else in the main that I'm not going to talk about on camera. We'll keep that in testing. That's it. Hope you guys like the deck. It really is fun, and I will see you guys in the next one.